All right. All right, you guys. So we're just talking about our Sarah Rockin' Robbins book that we started. This week we're reading chapters 3 through 6. And so we did 1 through 3 last week. So we're just going to touch on chapter 3 really quick, just a brief kind of thing. In chapter 3, she talks about thinking like a CEO. And I think that that's really important to run your business like it's your business, not like it's your part-time gig or just something you're kind of toying around with it. Once you decide to treat it like you're the CEO of your own company, things will change drastically for you in your business. It'll go from maybe a few people here and there are tagging along with you, and those numbers will start increasing, or maybe your paychecks, or your points for leaders retreats. All those things will change once you start treating it like you are the CEO of your own company. Setting goals, and then not just setting them, but making an action plan to achieve your goals is super important. Like for me, I have everything laid out, like numbered and laid out for every month what I'm trying to do and how I'm going to get there. It doesn't mean that I always make those goals. Sometimes I don't hit them at all. It's just business. Sometimes we have lulls in our business, downs and ups, whatever. And right now I seem to be in like this a little bit, but I'm still, my action plan is there to make sure I hit my goals. And so that was chapter 3. And then also chapter 4 was mainly just about promoting the products. First of all, you have to take them. That's like key, right? So if you're not truly taking your products, how are you going to share something and sell something that you truly you're not passionate about? So the only thing I have to compare that with is when somebody wanted me to join Melaleuca. This was like a couple years ago. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? We don't use chemicals in our house because of pay. So I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I'll share it. So in the very first beginning, I went nuts, right? I had 24 customers in less than 60 days, which with Plexus, they were wholesale. I would have been gold, right? But I never made any money with them really. And then the second thing was that I wasn't passionate about it. I have no real passion in cleaning supplies, to be totally honest with you. So to me, it didn't grow because of that. I just let it fizzle down and die, which was fine because the comp plan in comparison is nothing. But the whole point is that I wasn't passionate about them. So if you're not using these products, how are you supposed to share them passionately? You need to be taking them every single day and using them and, branching out in your product knowledge too by using them. I think that's really important because once you're passionate about it, your business will change 100%. So promoting them, you need to start with just using them and using them on a regular basis. One thing that she talks about that I think is totally true, and I feel like I didn't know a lot about, and I still don't feel like it's touched on a lot, is a customer base. Hey, buddy. Is a customer base. And I think that's really important because you can create a lot of right now income with customers, right? So ambassadors, you're getting paid on points. You're getting 5 points on your levels 1 through 4. And you get a dollar amount depending on what it is for the month on that. And with customers, it's the same. You're getting commissions on your customers every single month, right? So if your ambassadors don't place orders or you have white lines, you're not getting paid. If you have customers, you're getting paid every single time they order. So I think that that's something important that we want to make sure we share with our team and start in our business is having a good customer base. And I feel like Jessica and I both, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but I feel like that wasn't something really brought to our attention very much. And that I kind of wish it was, because if you had 3 preferred customers, you guys, you'd be making really good money from the very get. Your products would be paid for. So if you had 3 preferred customers on the triplex, your product's paid for, right? As opposed to you added 3 ambassadors and say they don't order, then you're getting nothing. Honestly, there's no commissions and you're not getting paid on their points if they're not ordering. So I feel like I like when she talks about that because she kind of talks about how that is the bulk of your money is commissions on actual customers. And so I think that that's going to be part of our weekly challenge is getting customers this week. Anyways, I have some ideas and I'll wrap up the meeting with that, but I didn't really realize how important that was in the beginning. And I'm just now learning ways to try to create momentum for yourself with customers is working towards, the 500 club or the 700 club even. Because that's, the 700 club is what? 3 new ambassadors and 3 new customers a month with over 700 PV. And are you guys going to? Okay. Keep your brother. Sorry. They're headed out in the heat. anyways, and then I forget what the 500 PV, don't quote me on that. I forget, well, it's obviously 500 personal volume, but I can't remember how many customers and how many ambassadors on that, but I'm sure we can find that info for you. So those are good ways to try to start the momentum with your customer base. And then another thing that she talks about is, it's instant money also, and a way to get customers to samples. I think that there's a lot of people that kind of are like me about samples. I kind of feel that way about samples. A lot of the times my dollar doesn't come back on a sample, but the reality is if I don't put it out there to grow my business, what if Jess didn't give me a sample? Okay, because I started with Jess, right? What if Jess didn't give me a sample and invite me over to taste the pink drink and hang out and chit chat about it? Like that, she would have missed out, right? So I feel like, and vice versa, like if I didn't send, Sarah, did I send you a sample? I can't remember. I'm not really a sample giver, so I'd be shocked, Sarah, if I sent you one. But
no sample.
Okay, so yeah, I tend not to, just because sometimes the return's not great on the samples. But my point being is, like, if Jessica didn't share a sample with me, she would have missed out, right? Or the person above her sharing with Jessica. If Amy and Eric didn't share with Jessica, they would have missed out because Jessica's, bringing in a lot of financial revenue for them. So I feel like it is really worth it, like in the greater picture. If you're nickeling and diming it right now in the beginning, it's okay because it gets better. Like if you're in it for the 4 years and you're in it for the long haul, we can afford to give out samples, right? Like just think about the bigger picture than the smaller picture. And sometimes I need to remind myself to do that because, like I said, sometimes I feel like I kind of, it doesn't always work out, but there's those few times that it will, and you might have a total rock star that's your level 1 or 2 from it, So giving out samples, I think, is important. Amanda does a great job at that. Do you want to share any ideas that you have, Amanda? I know that you do little things when you're at the restaurants and those types of things that I think are awesome entrepreneur skills, and I would love for you to share. Nothing like putting you on the spot, huh?
Still can't hear you.
Oh, you're muted. I don't think.
Sorry.
Okay. Now
I was working on my iPad, so I wasn't paying attention. I apologize.
Sorry.
So multitasking. Anyway, so
go ahead.
I was listening to you. I just wasn't paying attention to what I was doing on here. Anyway, so when I have a potential coffee date, I always try to get there at least 10 to 15 minutes early, and then I kind of chit chat the baristas up a little bit. And then kind of either give them a sample or exchange, especially if, it's someone new that I haven't seen before. Because I'm from a really small town, so that's just what we do. We just conversate. And I've learned that skill through my husband because he's a total people person. And me, like, I was totally shy, like, before. Like, I wouldn't. But now I, like, will talk your head off. So good luck if you actually meet me in person. I may take a few minutes. But anyway, so I just end up having a casual friend just meet me there. Or, like, I went to farmer's market. And, I just chat with the vendors, and then get their contact, get their business card, and then connect with them on Facebook and then add them, and then eventually I've had a couple reach out to me wondering about the Plexus post, which is good. And then it's just one of those things too, like I have this good idea that I'm going to run a half marathon. So what I'm going to do is, I was just discussing this with Amber. I'm going to get samples of the ease because, all of this muscle recovery the next day is brutal. If you've ever ran a long run, it is amazing. But anyways, so I was thinking getting the ease combo samples, stapling them to my business card, talking to people at the bid pickup, and then just making friends there, and then adding them to Facebook and then following up with them. So that's kind of my new thing, but it's definitely like coffee dates, making friends that have salons. I have a display up in my friend's salon. I've got a couple leads off of there. Seeing if you can do a ladies' night. We all have friends that have home-based businesses. Do a ladies' night. Get 5 of your friends that want, ones that sell Scentsy or whatever. Plexus sells itself, so you can pretty much enjoy the party and talk to people, make relationships, and just have a picture of Slim out. So those are just a few ideas that I have. Or even if you have a friend, you see him at the pool, have a packet always with you, or make sure you bring a water bottle and just bust it right there and have a sip and see. I had one of those the other day. And so it's just one of those things that's nice to do. You just never know. And it could be just that one customer that could be your potential rock star that if you wouldn't have brought it up, what's the worst thing they're going to say? No. Like, So you just move on and go to the next person.
And Amanda and
So
I,
that's pretty much it.
remember on the streets in Sonora, that lady was like scared of us.
Yeah, I drug Amber.
I can't remember.
I drug Amber at my sip and see out on the streets in downtown Sonora, which is a small town, and all these tourists were there. And I'm like, hey, do you mind if I bother you for a minute? Would you like to try Plexus? Have you heard of it? I mean, it's kind of saturated in our area, but it was the wrong tourist thing. But I went and did it. I'm like, what are they going to say? No? And Amber's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing this right now.
I'm so proud of her because, like, you guys all think I'm super outgoing and, like, whatever. That was way out of my comfort zone. And I just followed this little girl around, and she just rocked that shit all downtown. I was like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you because, like, I don't think I could do what you did. But it was great for me to watch you be a rock star, you know? And some people, you know, like we had one chick that was super mean. And you know what? That's totally okay. Because at the end of the day, we don't really mind, right?
She probably could have used Vitabiome.
Probably.
But she missed the boat.
Totally. Awesome. Thanks, Amanda. So that is something that Amanda's really great about is always, you know, giving out samples and having them ready. Like she's saying, like, I keep them in my purse all the time. Like a little story about samples for me is just even local stuff. Like there's a lot of girls on the island that sell Plexus and everyone says, oh, you can't share Plexus on this island. And I really don't try to be that honest with you guys because I don't know a lot of people, but I do have a couple aunties from my bank and like, they've never tried Plexus. And I'm like, how? You guys work at one of the main banks in town. How have they never tried Plexus? But it's like that, you know, you just never know. You just keep branching out, keep making sure your goods are with you. Because you have no idea who you're going to come up on next, you know? And then the other thing, you know, that Sarah talks about, and that we talked about a little bit on the last call was planning events. So the challenge was to get on the calendar like 4 sip and sees, I think. And that is just key, I think, is doing events. So I feel super lame because I don't do events. And my reason being is because I really don't have a lot of friends here. Maybe I should like try to challenge myself to get something together. But I know, right? Amanda's like, yes, you should. I share it with whoever's in my path that I cross, you know, on the island, but I have never held like a sip and see or done anything like that. Just remember we have how many jewels just from this island? Eric, Amy, Rebecca, Brooke, her husband, 5 on Kauai, 5 jewels.
Quite a few.
4 of them being diamonds.
Yeah.
Right? No, Amy and Eric and Brooke are all diamonds. So 3 out of 5 diamonds, and the others are jewels. So that's a lot, you guys. So, but that sounds like an excuse, and I don't want to teach you guys to make excuses. So really, I need to try to get a sip and see somehow in my life together. I did a bunch of them when I was in California, which was awesome. But that was the challenge to get 4 sip and sees on the calendar for the month of July. I know Amanda's followed through with that. I think Sarah's followed through with that. I don't know if anyone else has set anything else up, but good job on that, ladies. And then just remembering, you know, when you're sharing, Sarah talks about this, when you're sharing Plexus, or your whatever it is that you're sharing, remember that facts tell and stories sell. So like if you go at somebody with a bunch of facts about the products and features about the products, they're not going to be so turned on. Like they're probably friends with you because they like you and they care about you. So really what they want to know is like, why the heck you're taking Plexus, right? Like that's what I would want to know. When Jess came to me, she shared like her story about Plexus, you know, when I went to Amanda, I shared my story about Plexus. So it's like, and same with Sarah, like that's what sells, stories sell. So don't just hit people with like, we call it puking Plexus. Don't just puke Plexus all over everybody because they really won't like it and it won't really get the job done, to be honest. So like little information in the beginning and telling them what Plexus has done for you and finding out what Plexus can do for them, really, instead of spewing just these facts and talking about the features so much. Another thing as far as the customers, you know, really, I love this idea and I do it, is handwritten thank you cards. In the beginning, I used to send out thank you cards like here and there. Now I have a little secretary. His name is Adam, and he's phenomenal at his job. And so ours are all now done online through this website that I don't even know the name of. Like I gave it to him. I said, look into this. And he's like, okay, babe, so good. And now he sends out my thank you cards. So I make sure I'm still personable with my customer base and my ambassadors. But with your customers, I feel like it's important because really, honestly, they could go to GNC, they can go to Walmart, they can go to doTERRA, they can go anywhere for these supplements, and they're choosing to go to you. They're choosing to go for you for a reason. So make sure that you're maintaining that relationship with them, because the reality is really, if it's not strong enough, they'll fall off. And I find that to be true just overall. Like if my relationship's not strong enough for certain people, they end up just falling off, because it's like, some people aren't as passionate about health as we are, right? So, but if they're really passionate about my relationship with them and my family relationship with them, they're more likely to stay on, the products and keep using them and getting the benefits. But so personal thank you cards are really important. Once you get to the point where it's too time consuming, like I said, we have a program now. It's awesome. It's like my handwritten signature. I get to have a couple mock-ups saved into my system, and then he can go in, once a week or whatever and pick out who we're going to send thank you cards to, which I love. So that's really a great tip. And then kind of chapters 5 and 6, she goes over talking about power prospecting. And I think that this is important because I think power prospecting is like a huge part of our business. I would say like the majority of it is power prospecting. You're going to never stop talking to people. That's what Amanda just said. She just talks to people, right? That's really what it is. This business is about talking to people, hands down. You might not be talking Plexus in the beginning. You're just talking, right? You're meeting new friends, meeting new people. That's why we're constantly saying add people to your Facebook every single day. Add people to your Instagram every single day. The reason why is because you're establishing some form of relationship with them. And eventually you're going to be talking with them, whether it be about their kids or the dogs or Plexus or like whatever. So really in this business, it just really boils down to never stop talking. You're talking to people all the time, either on the phone, on social media, and Messenger, in text. And that kind of brings us to like the branching out. You need to be reaching out. And where I'm at right now, like I'm at where I have to struggle to reach out to 5 to 10 new people a day. It's a struggle for me. I mean, I have a lot of people on my Facebook, but I haven't built lots of relationships yet, right? Like I have over 2,000 now. I started before Plexus, we had 1,200. My Instagram, I think, was almost 1,000. Now we just opened it public. Now we're up to like, I don't know, 1,100 and something. But those relationships aren't there yet. They're starting to build, right? Because people are seeing our story and they're exposed a little bit to what we do for a living, where we live, those types of things. But that's where you really want to be reaching out. Like I feel, she says 5 people a day. I say 10. Like reach out to 10 people a day. Honestly, it takes about 10 minutes. Like it's not hard. It's a very short amount of your day. Reach out to 10 people and just get it done. If you need to, and I always say when you're reaching out, don't respond to the people. If they respond right away, just wait till you're done reaching out and then go back and respond to them. Just don't do it uninterrupted, and then, that gives you something for later too. Then you have your follow-up. So if you're doing that every single day, your business is going to grow. I pretty much 100% guarantee it. When my numbers start going off and I start making like leaderboards and stuff, you guys, that's when I am super intentional with my time. And I haven't been. So I haven't been on the leaders board. I haven't like done anything crazy lately. That's because I have not been intentional with my time. And we've talked about that last week. Like I'm having a little bit of a personal struggle and I'm trying to, get out of that. But that's key is the last couple of days I've taken my time to be intentional and time block, reaching out to at least 5 people a day, which like I said, at this point in the game, like that's a little bit harder for me because they're people I don't know. So I'm pretty much cold messaging a lot of times and I'm following up with people that I may have already sent like 5 messages and gotten crickets, right? So like, who's to say what's going to happen? I don't know. They still could be my rock stars and they still could have some type of life change with Plexus. Maybe those 5 times they opened it, stuck it back in their purse because they were in the grocery store, football practice, soccer practice, ballet, like whatever, life's busy. So reaching out to 5 to 10 people a day is crucial in this business for like eternity. So for eternity, I pretty much know that's something I have to do to grow my business. Some people at the top of this company, they may only have, I've heard like of certain diamonds only having like 15 people wide, okay, 15 like level 1s, and they're diamonds. I'm like, that's nuts. But they happen to find a couple rock stars, right, within those 15 people, and then their business just went through the roof. So it's like, just keep envisioning, just keep spanning wide, just keep going wide, keep adding level 1s. Like I think I don't know, 72, not that they're all active, but I'm like 72 wide. Could you imagine if just a few people on my level 1s start like really kicking butt, that's phenomenal, you know, potential growth and money for our family income. That's amazing. So that's my biggest piece of advice is just keep reaching out, because in the end, that's what really is going to take you far in this, is expanding wide. And that's not going to happen necessarily if you're not reaching out, right? At least in your level ones. That gets more complicated as far as like comp and all that, but you guys get the gist a little bit. Another thing that she talks about is, you know, power prospecting is utilizing these events. Like the event we had last week, it is so important. And I had no idea in the beginning either how important it is to utilize these events. It's all laid out for us. Like I don't even do the work, you guys. Steph and Amy and Eric do the work. And all we have to do is put in a little bit of time. Like, could you imagine if you got 20 people to say yes to a virtual event and you signed 3 of them? Like some people don't sign 3 people in like a couple months time, really level ones. Amanda and I were talking about that the other day. I tend to get like, I'm an overachiever. I get super hard on myself. And I'm like, she's like, you're kicking butt. Like, look at what we're doing. I'm like, you know what? You're totally right. Like that is totally right. Lots of people that like, I mean, that's a lot. So if you were to invite 20 people, all the work is done. They can just show up, listen in. All you're doing is inviting, confirming, sending a reminder before the event, and checking in after the event, and then signing them, right? And then becoming their health coach. So like 6 steps, and you potentially could do really well off that person and change somebody else's life, and they could start changing people's lives. So I love when she talks about that, because it's so true. So just utilize the events that we already have going online. So what do we have right now? The 7-day sample group that's going up, and then Amy's doing the drawing, like get 3, help them get 3, right? Something like that. I can't remember the specific details, but I think it's sign 3, have them help, you know, sign 3. And when you're power prospecting too, just remember, like, you know a lot more people than you think that you do. So I love Jess posted, I think it was yesterday, about the Frank's list, and I love that. Honestly, it's so key. And I still have to remind myself, my husband's actually right now in the middle of like trying to figure out like a system for me and how he's going to put everything together. So I'm telling him everything that I need to like keep track of. And he, like, bless his heart, has this whole little list of like, okay, prospects, the outcome, the follow-up date, and then to go to the next month, and then ambassadors for the day, customers for the day, ambassadors that I signed on each level, you know, things that I need to do for the day, and my Frank's list, like how to keep my Frank's list organized. Because what happens is like I have it in like $3, right? So I have like my master list that has like 200 people on it, but then branched off of that, I have like all these little tiny, like, you know, I mean, I'm a total planner freak, kind of like every single little book. And then I got like, I mean, it just ends up like everywhere where I just need like one list to keep. So, but Frank's list is so important because you kind of lose track. You know what I mean? So I like that post, Jess.
Helps.
What?
It helps if you, or at least for myself, because I'm like this too. Like I might like prospect like crazy one day and then not get around, like the next day I cannot get around to following up. And then the next, so I need to know like where I've left off. So even just writing little notes, like I'll do like just weird stuff where like I'll circle the people I really want, and then I'll write a little note like, you know, next to their name, like, okay, this is when they reached or they responded, just like whatever to help you get back at your book and be like, this is where I left off with this person. Because for me, or I sent a sample, like I just sent 2 samples out this morning. Like I won't remember that like this evening. That's my mind anymore. Like
that's my life too, I feel like.
I can't tell you what I did yesterday. Like I don't know if I have like laundry sitting in the washing machine. Like I don't know. So the more notes I can write down, and this is the way I manage my family's life too, is just like, I had to make a couple phone calls for my husband's business, and it was like, you know, we don't need to pay this until this time next year, and I'll go to next year and I'll write it down. Like this is due, you know, because I have a huge calendar. But I don't know if that's of any help. Like I do the exact same thing. The more you can the more notes you can leave yourself regarding your prospects of just like where you have left off with them. I had a few people come to one of the things, the events that Amy and Eric's done, tried the product, said they were going to do it, went on vacation. So it's like, okay, this is when they'll be back from vacation. I mean, it can be crazy confusing if you really do have 20 people who show up to one of these things and you're needing to follow up with them. So
yeah,
that's what I try to do.
I know, I find I do the same exact thing. And I tell my husband, I said, my business could be growing so much better and faster if I was more organized. So that's why he's choosing to help me do these few things, because it's like that. I send out samples, don't write it down. I mean, and once they're like in the mailbox, yeah. Or I'm like the queen of being like, oh, a sample, sure. And then, you know, and that affects our businesses, right? That's bad business. That's me being a bad CEO, honestly, right? So I think lists are great, and really finding a spot where you can keep one ultimate list is helpful. And then Jess said, like, making little notes here and there is really key. Let me see where we're at. Sorry. Kind of lost my train of thought for a second. Oh, with that being said is, you know, when you're power prospecting, utilizing these events and media, making sure you're keeping up on your Frank's list. Also, don't forget about like your direct contacts, like your email contacts. And then also, you know, people in your phone. So email and phone contacts. And then also going back to old prospects or people that said no like 3 months ago, 6 months ago, if you've been in it for a while. Go back and utilize all those things, because really you never know, right? So like, I don't have a huge email list, but I'm working on it. I don't have a huge email list. Hey, Chris, but I'm working on that and I'm growing my email list. But go back through your email list, go to your contacts in your phone, you know, go back to the prospects that you had before that may have said, now's not the right time. Guess what? Maybe now's the time. Reach back out. And then, you know, plug into every single thing that our team offers. Our team in Aloha Plexus, I usually bring everything from Aloha to our team. Plug into it. It's worth it. I didn't really realize that for like months and months and months and months to plug in. Once you're plugged in, it changes. Like, I think Amanda could probably contest to that. I feel like once you're plugged in and you're really with the culture of this team, it changes for you. Being involved in these things will help you grow as a person, as a wife, but as a business builder. And once I decided to be plugged in, my business really started taking off, and so did my team. So I just want to, I know you guys get lots of notifications. I mean, I get it, and I try to keep it limited. Sometimes it's hard. I recently stopped adding people to Aloha because I feel like it's just too much. You know, we bring a lot to the table at Plexus Culture, and I feel like I can, you know, kind of share those things in Plexus Culture instead of having everybody in Aloha, because the notifications are a lot. But utilize what's there, you know. Amanda, do you want to add to that, hun?
Yeah, I actually, to be honest, I do not add my ambassadors to Aloha Plexus unless they say they're interested in the business. Because I feel once they say, yeah, I'm interested in the business, then you add them to Aloha Plexus and it gives them a bigger picture. But if you know what I mean, if you're adding people right away, what are you going to give them when they say, yeah, they want the business? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so I do.
Aloha Plexus is a really good business booster. Like,
it is,
you know, and then you explain to them.
Right. So I think like
they see the vision.
Yeah, seeing the vision is big, right? Seeing the big vision is big. And I think on Plexus Culture, you know, adding every single wholesale ambassador and ambassador is important, because then they're exposed to it though. You know, Aloha Plexus can get super overwhelming, right? So like somebody brand new or wholesale person's not going to want to be exposed to Aloha Plexus. That's just like too much. But Plexus Culture is a little bit of a tame version because it's smaller, right? So, you know, that's my suggestion. I think all of you on this call right now are in Aloha Plexus, and that's great. But all of you are working, right? You're all working ambassadors. So, you know, my wholesale ambassadors, I'm just leaving in Plexus Culture, you know, and then they're exposed to it, which I think is good, because sometimes that sparks interest. You know what I mean? Like I signed up a girl, Jennifer, yesterday, and had no idea, like, and then I just threw it out there, like, hey, if you ever want to get these, you know, paid for, when she was done signing up, and she's like, oh my gosh, I would love to do that, maybe even more. And I was like, sweet, you know, and then that was that. But sorry, what was I talking about? This is the typical mom moment right now. Oh, Plexus Culture, Aloha. So we try to keep it like limited, you know, so you guys don't get lots of notifications, but just really tuning in is really key. Also, one idea that I really like that I know Amanda and I both do is trades. So we basically do trades with other multi-level marketing moms. They may sell lip scents, cleaning supplies, hair stuff, makeup, candles, waxes, I mean, you name it. So a lot of the times, I love this idea. It's like throwing up a post about a trade, right? Like talking about your product and looking for somebody else's at the same time in a post with a really good picture, I think would be a really great idea. And be like, who wants to trade out? So like trade customer, or wholesale and wholesale, because most of these companies is how it's set up, right? You can buy wholesale or you can be just a customer. So do a trade with these girls. I mean, you guys, everybody shares everything. Why not, right? So I do a trade with a couple people. I have 2 Lip Sense girls. I have LifeLock, my LifeLock girl that I trade with for my kids' socials, and our security as far as that goes. It's worth it. Guess what? It's kind of a wash, and it's exposure, right? She's using our product. I'm using hers. She can tag me in whatever. She can talk about it for me. I can do the same for her. So find people to do those trades. They can even be close friends of yours, or they can not be. You can just throw it up. Throw it up on media. But I think that that's a good idea as well. And then, when we're power prospecting and we're sharing Plexus, there's a few different approaches that Sarah talks about. One that she talks about is, a direct approach. And that, sorry, my ice maker is like having a meltdown, maybe because it's so hot. Keep like hearing it in the back making noises. Anyways, a direct approach. So that's basically like, you're going to talk to your close friends and family, and you're just going to give them outright exactly what it is and what you want from them and what's going to benefit them, right? So if I was sharing with like my sister-in-law, I'd be like, seriously? Okay. Which now they've both started, but I'd be like, okay, come on. I've been using Plexus for over a year. You're watching my business be successful. You're watching our health, take turns. I'm off of medication. I have more energy. I'm not napping. Like, what are you waiting for? Let's get you enrolled like today. That to me is like a super direct approach, right? And I could do that with my sister-in-law or my mom or anybody that I'm close to. So she talks about direct approach. So if you have people in your life that you're close with, just throw it out there, you guys. Don't be scared. Like, remember, you have something that they need. And if you're sharing this business opportunity, which I've learned, share business, default on products, why would you be scared? You could ultimately help change their life financially. Like, you could help them prepare so that their kids don't have to pay for college. You could ultimately prepare so they can retire their husbands, or they could be a stay-at-home mom instead of working 60 hours a week. Like, those are things that we want for our friends and family. So you can be super intentional and just straight shoot it to them with a direct approach, instead of, an indirect approach, which she talks about, which is more like a referral approach, which I also think is great, but it's just more of a softer way of introducing Plexus to people. And they might be people they don't really know that well, so for me, like if I'm sending a cold message, something like I did today, I'm like, hey, I'm not sure how we're friends on Facebook, but we have so many mutual friends. I thought I would reach out. I become super passionate about my new stay-at-home job. May I share this opportunity with you? That's like they're all altered to who I'm talking to. So if I'm like reaching out to on a cold message to somebody who's younger, I'm going to talk about what can benefit them, right? So I'm going to say, hey, I came across your profile on Facebook. I'm looking for like-minded mamas like yourself to work from home with me and join my team. Is it okay if I share a little bit more with you? And oftentimes, either you don't hear back or people respond with yes. Like, who doesn't want to know how to be home with their kids, or who doesn't want to know how to make another $200,000 to $20,000 a month? Like, pretty much everybody. It's just a matter of time when they come around and who they choose to listen to, right? So like, I could send that message, Amanda could send that message, maybe someone responds to her and I get crickets. That's how it goes, guys. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you stop sharing. Like we talked about a few minutes ago, this business is talking. Just keep talking to people. You're growing your business by growing relationships. If you stop growing relationships, your business will stop. It's just what it is. And like I was saying, thank you cards to your ambassadors and your customers. Like, that's because you're maintaining that relationship with them. They're buying something from you, not Walmart or GNC. So make sure you maintain that relationship with them. So those are more indirect approaches. I don't know, Amanda, do you have any indirect ones that you want to share? Kind of similar to what I do, I feel like, yeah. Okay, she's good. Anyways, the last
Sorry,
thing,
I forget the mute button. I'm messaging people and I forgot I was on mute.
No, it's fine. I know I'm trying to ignore my inbox, you guys, right now, which is great because I've been intentional with my time the last 2 days. It's been phenomenal. My inbox has been full every night and lots of messages during the day, which is good. But the last thing to kind of wrap it up was something that I feel pretty strongly about. And I don't want this to come across wrong, but three-way messages. So I have a few working ambassadors now for months, and they don't utilize us in three-way messages, whoever their upline is. I can't express how important that I think it is. Like hugely important, because what it does is you'll end up growing your business, right? So I got put in a few just earlier today that some girls were like, I cannot. And I'm like, okay, stop thinking you cannot, because you can. But utilize me. Like, that's what I'm here to do, you guys. This is my full-time job, is to help all of you build your business. So you're not bothering me. This is what I'm here to do. The thing is, it's not that I'm better than anybody. It's not that I know more. Like, hands down, Amanda knows way more about the products than I do. Like, that's our personality. She's so freaking, those are her strengths, and it's phenomenal. And I love to utilize her in those ways, and she helps me in that way and makes me realize, like, I don't really know that much about that. Amanda's great at that, right? Like, my strength is the gift of gab. Like, I like to freaking talk, obviously. So I have a way somehow of using that gift with this business. And so it's not that I'm better than, but it's that I've been exposed more, right? So I'm over a year in, and I've been doing this. So I might be able to turn the conversation around in a way that maybe our newbies can't, or you can't yet. So that's why I think it's so important. So like today I was on one, and she's like, I just can't. Got on there. She's signing up like today, So it's not that this person did anything wrong. I two of them actually. Not that these girls did anything wrong by any means. They just didn't know how to direct the conversation. And I remember Amy telling me, it's because we have the experience. So get us on a three-way call or in a message. Three-way calls are always awesome, but most likely people don't do them. I mean, it's just kind of a thing. People are more nervous to talk in a three-way call or a Zoom than they are like a three-way text. If that person wants to work, you sign them up maybe in a three-way message, and then you get a Zoom or a phone call to get them rolling, and you tell them what they're going to do right off the gate, which is throw up a Facebook post and tag you in it. But utilizing the three-way messages, and you guys, if you're not comfortable utilizing me, like reach out to a sideline sister that maybe can help you. Go above me. Go to Jessica. Like we're all here to help. So if I'm not it for you, and I don't take that kind of stuff personally at all, reach out to somebody else. But it really does help. And I want to encourage you guys to encourage your team to do the same thing, right? So like Sarah and Amanda, Chris, like if you guys have any one person that's working, encourage to be there for them, which I know you guys do, and utilize you in three-way messages, because it really does help. And I think that's that was kind of everything that I had jotted down. I love reading this book because it kind of like awakens me a little bit more, So we had the challenge last week of, Sip and Seas. So I know a few of you on this call went ahead and set them up. So if you haven't already, I want to encourage you guys to set up a couple Sip and Seas. It really is beneficial. Think about making sure you always have a sample in your purse. Think about reaching out to your customers with thank you cards. If you don't have customers, that's the challenge that I want to work on this week. I really want to work on, let's just focus on, 4 products. Let's do the Vital Biome and the probiotic together to get new customers for those 2 combo, and then a combo of maybe the Slim and the X Factor as preferred customers, right? And so I have to think, what's the PV on the Slim and the X Factor? It's not 100, I don't think. It might be pretty close though, but it's not total, I don't think. I think it's close.
It's 95 or something.
See, Amanda knows. That's something I don't know. So Amanda,
don't quote me, but I know for sure it just comes under 100. So I always tell everyone to add the vitamins.
Okay. So we could just focus, this next week on getting preferred customers for the Vital Biome and the probiotic together, and then also the Slim and the X Factor together, because they're going to get crazy energy from that combo, right? So why don't we all focus on a really great picture and post? Think about it. you know, steer away from our selfies. Let's think about like, what does the vitamin and the Slim do for us? Like, it's going to give us energy and it's going to make our hair and nails grow, right? So like a really killer picture of like you from the back with your hair down, you know, like, and then you talk about that. Or, you know, the Vitabiome and the probiotic, like it makes us happier, right? So like a really great family picture with everybody smiling. You guys get my gist. So whatever they can do for your, you know, for you, post a picture about that, not about the product itself, you know? And if you're searching what these things do because you're not really sure, you guys, Facebook search bar magic. Like, type those products in. You can find a million posts, copy and save to your notes, make it your own, and post. Super simplistic. So that's the goal this week, is to get, I would say, like, have your goal be 3 new preferred customers. Some of you that joined later on in the call, we talked about how customers are a huge, it's a way to make money right now. It's a way to get an income right now. Like, it's a way to make money this week, right? So focus on maybe getting 3 new customers this week. It sounds crazy, but if that's one of your main focuses this week, you guys can do it. Like, I guarantee you can do it. Like, I have intention this week, Adam will be silver by the end of the week. That is my intention. And I'm going to work on this 3 new customers. You know, I'm going to say this week, I'm going to really shoot for 3 new customers this week. But the reality is I probably have some in the wings, right? If you're actually reaching out to 5 to 10 people a day, you have some in the wings, I guarantee you. You just don't realize it yet. And so that's kind of the challenge. And then we can share them. We can share those products and feature them in the Boss Babe this week. And I think that's really it. I had like a lot of aha moments, but they may have went away. No, I'm just kidding. One thing that I was thinking about too is like a referral program when we're talking about a customer base. You know, I don't really have one in place yet. Do you, Amanda, have a referral program that you like use every day?
You know, honestly, I just keep reaching out, and then I just tell everyone, you know, I just ask them, if this isn't for you, do you know someone that this could benefit?
So that's awesome.
So when I'm reaching out to even I'm just constantly doing that, or even my ambassadors.
Right, which is perfect. Like, that's key, you guys. I love that. I think you all should be doing that, you know, is asking if somebody says no, or if somebody says yes and they're using your products, ask them for referrals. Like, I think that's important. So the challenge is going to be focusing on those 4 products with a great post. You can share them in the 90-Day Boss Babe. And then also some type of, you know, referral program, how you're going to put something together. Like, what's your incentive? Like, if somebody referrals, what would you do for them? Maybe it's a bottle of something. Maybe, you know, like if somebody brought you 3 people and they all signed up as a customer and ambassador, what would you give them? So I think that we should all post ideas for a referral program and on the 90-Day Boss Babe. And that's it. So the 4 products, we're going to share them with a good picture and graphics, or not graphics, but hey, Jason, but with a good picture and description, sharing a 90-Day Boss Babe, and then, you know, talking about a referral program, ideas that we can all throw out there together. And then also, I just want to encourage you guys to be focusing on Leaders Retreat. Like, I really want you guys to come because I really don't want to go alone. It's more for selfish reasons, right? Like, I want to hang out with you guys, so I want you guys to be there. So I'm hoping you all have an action plan for Leaders Retreat, which is going to help you in every other way. It's going to help you accomplish the 500 club or the 700 club. It's going to help you have a better income for the week. All those things is going to help you accomplish these 3 new customers. So having an action plan for Leaders Retreat, I'm hoping that everybody does, and that we can all be there together. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'm going to open it up. Does anybody have any questions, or they want to share what they enjoyed the most about chapters 3 through 6? Okay, that's cool. Okay, you guys, I'll see you on the flip side. Thanks for showing up, everybody that took the time. I really appreciate it. You're lying to yourself.